the most points in an SEC game ever by any Razorback player. Our officials today, Steven Anderson, Will Howard, Keith Kimball, and we are underway from Fayetteville. Missouri in the road black, Arkansas in the home white.
Missouri, a team that's coming into this game with a lot of confidence. It's a team that can play connected, play in the inside and the outside. Physical brand of basketball.
Yeah, this Razorbacks team has won 6 of their last 8 games. The only 2 losses over that stretch were to Kentucky and Alabama in double overtime. They've played as well as anyone, Richard, in this league over the last month of the season. And Dennis Gates' group, look, they've played in a lot of tight games, including that top 20 win on Wednesday night against Vanderbilt. He told us, we have developed certain traits that you can only develop winning tight games, as Mark Mitchell takes it coast to coast.
And you talk about traits. Mark Mitchell is a player who personifies that. A big-time power forward that can impact this game in so many ways. Gets Mizzou on the board early.
Malik Thomas, often overshadowed by Darius Acuff Jr., equally as impressive as a freshman. Got his own miss, goes right off the window for the first points for Arkansas.
Well, this is the dynamic freshman that not many are talking about, but Malik Thomas, with his length and ability on the perimeter, can make a big difference, as he's been doing all season long.
Oh, what a hammer on the lob to Sean Phillips Jr. So much length in this Missouri starting 5.
Well, that's that big-to-big action that the Tigers are able to take advantage of. Mark Mitchell, an elite-level passer. He finds his big man Phillips up top.
Brazil swatted away. They're going to count the bucket on the floater by Billy Richmond III.
Both of these teams starting to fill things out early on in the game, executing well in the half-court set.
Mitchell inside to Pierce. And despite shooting just 2 for 9 in Missouri's win against Vanderbilt, Mitchell had a career-high 9 assists. That's the ability that he has, Richard.
Well, he knows exactly where to put the ball at that time. With a 6'10" Trent Pierce taking advantage of a smaller defender, puts it right on the money. And Mizzou getting some defense, and they have numbers.
Pierce back out to T.O. Barrett. He started Missouri's last 9 games, playing the best basketball of his career. Gives it up to Pierce for 3.
Well, not only can Trent Pierce score down low, but his ability to shoot from the outside must be respected at all times.
Acuff Jr., his first shot. Off the mark, draws a foul, and is headed to the free throw line.
That's exactly the start that Missouri wants. And Arkansas starting to settle down, and a little bit of direction from Coach John Calipari early on in this game.
Coach Cal, all during their shoot-around this morning, continued to stop the shoot-around, imploring his team to come out with the right energy over the first 5 minutes, knowing that Mizzou is playing with some desperation right now to solidify their spot in the field of 68.
Well, it's impressive to see a coach of John Calipari's caliber. He was the first one out here on the court before anyone is taking mental reps of where he wanted his players to be. He talked about you have to have a sense of urgency, particularly after a short turnaround in a double overtime game. This is what he expected from Mizzou early on. You have to see if Arkansas will respond.
Turnover will give it back to the Razorbacks. That is one area that could be interesting this afternoon. Missouri has struggled turning the ball over against an Arkansas team that loves to get out and run. Richmond bumped by Pierce, and back to the line go the Razorbacks. Big win for Tennessee They've now won 9 of their last 11 games. As we welcome you to Fayetteville, Matt Schumacher, the SEC legend, Richard Hendricks, for a game pitting two rivals and two teams, Richard, that as of today, according to Joe Lunardi, are in the field of 68.
Well, you're deep in February, and both of these teams understand how important it is to be playing high-level basketball right now. And both of these squads have gotten off to pretty good starts in this one.
Missouri coming off a top 20 win over Vanderbilt. Right now, they have the last bye in the NCAA tournament per Joe Lunardi. Meanwhile, Arkansas has put together a superb resume in league play, second in the SEC, and currently sitting on the 5 line. Barrett hoists a 3. And the rebound hauled in by Trevin Brazil. Here comes Darius Acuff Jr., one of the top players in the nation, not just among freshmen, but all players of Division I.
A lot of talk has been talking about the SEC Freshman of the Year, but he's putting his bid in for the Player of the Year with his spectacular play.
Leads the league in scoring and assists. Gives it up to Thomas. Floater inside the Pringle with a two-hand jam.
That pinpointed pass, as Thomas let it go, he didn't know if it was going to be Pringle or Richmond. But the athleticism of Pringle to go up top and finish that one, elite alley-oop finish.
Speaking of elite finishes, Sean Phillips Jr., the Arizona State transfer, back the other way in a flash. Malik Thomas.
Arkansas is one of the fastest paced teams in the SEC, and they can get out and score in fast breaks. The second-rate team in the conference. They can score with the quickness.
Mitchell draws a foul. And Missouri will be headed to the line for the first time this afternoon when we come back.
Really good.
Arkansas and Missouri, and the Razorbacks, who have won 6 of their last 8 games, currently top 20 in the net, 6 and 7 in quad 1 games, currently on the 5 line. Missouri, as of this past week, moving off the bubble and into the field of 68. But Dennis Gates knows, Richard, this is a monster quad 1 road opportunity for his team to really solidify that March Madness resume.
Massive chance here for Missouri on the road at a strong Arkansas team, and having the momentum of a big win against another really strong team in Vanderbilt. Dennis Gates really likes what he sees from his squad right now, and they're off to a really good start early on the road.
It's a team that has dealt with injuries all year, and yet they've just rolled with it, adapting to new roles, different starting lineups. You could say the same for the Razorbacks, who again today are without Carter Knox with a knee injury indefinitely.
Well, both of these teams well coached. In Missouri, they take on the demeanor of their head coach, Dennis Gates, very calm, and you can see collected right there on that defensive stop, Sean Phillips with a block.
Tallest and longest team in the SEC. They've done a fantastic job since league play began using that size. The #1 paint defense in the conference. Anthony Robinson in the paint, traveled, and well defended by Darius Acuff.
And not only real great defense by Darius Acuff Jr., but the really spirited job by Trevin Brazil to deny that ball on the other side, to not let it to go to Mark Mitchell. And there you see, bottled up with nowhere to go. Good defensive stop by the Razorbacks.
Backdoor cut. Acuff is on the board after 49 in a double overtime loss to Bama on Wednesday.
And that's great recognition by Arkansas. Billy Richmond with the dime on the back door.
Mitchell, back out Pierce, a 3. And Malik Ewan hauls down the board. Acuff's 49, the most ever by an NCAA freshman against a top 25 opponent. Goes high off the window, and a tap back good by Ewan.
And you see his explosiveness, not able to finish, but Malik Ewan right there with a big tip in.
Here's Mark Mitchell. Fades away from Brazil and gets the friendly bounce. Leads the Tigers in scoring, assists, and rebounding this year.
Well, if Mark Mitchell can give you some offensive production, particularly with that outside shot and that jumper in the mid-range, And this can be a good night for Missouri. He struggled with his shooting woes, particularly at the free throw line, but his playmaking ability is still at a high level.
Elite post matchup this afternoon. Brazil and Mitchell, because Brazil too, Richard, has been fantastic during this recent run for the Razorbacks.
A lot of talent on this floor, particularly with the front court. We talk about the guards in this game, but you'll see some skilled bigs on display.
Thomas, tough fadeaway, won't get it. Pierce the rebound, and here comes Jaden Stone, Missouri's second leading scorer. Pierce, baseline rejected by the Billy Goat, Billy Richmond III.
Well, you see why so many people in this conference talk about him as a potential defensive player of the year. Elite defensive skills, getting back into play, and the rejection. Beautiful work there by Billy Richmond III.
Affectionately called Billy Goat here in Fayetteville, and Coach Cal told us he's been better than he initially thought when Billy arrived to campus, and that has only evolved as his role has increased this season. Here he is with the interception.
He's been playing his best ball.
And Pringle pays it off.
Arkansas once again getting another fast break points. They're second in the conference when it comes to getting out and running and getting easy buckets in transition.
Averaging 18.5 fast break points per game. That's good for third in the country. Mitchell catch and shoot. Knocks down a three.
Mark Mitchell's feeling it. He's got the game going in the low post. He's distributing well, and now when he's stroking from the outside, man, you really have some problem on your hands.
A cuff. Knocks down the triple in response.
When we talk about a problem, you're coming off a 49-point performance on the road in Tuscaloosa. You want to see, do you still have that momentum? And Darius Acuff starting to feel it here early on.
Burns tries a three. Thomas to Ewan. Left-hand floater won't go. Good rebound by Ant Robinson.
Spirited rebound by Robinson.
Thought about a logo three. He scored in back-to-back games at double figures for the first time this season. Cruz. A cup from downtown. Boy, Pringle had a wide open rebound. Ball on the deck, rolls out of bounds. It'll stay here with Arkansas.
Well, you see the way these two teams are battling and competing. They understand the point of February basketball. With these teams shooting it well from the outside, Mark Mitchell lining up a tray ball. And on the other side, you see Darius Acuff Jr. joining the show.
Boy, that Michigan-Duke game, Richard Hendricks, two projected #1 seeds, could be a preview of a Final Four national title type of matchup.
Absolutely. This is a star-studded Saturday. Some big-time games. That Duke-Michigan game. Yaxel Lindeborg, Cameron Boozer, some of the premier power forwards in the game. Should be a lot of fun to watch.
Meanwhile, back here in Fayetteville, both Missouri and Arkansas shooting above 50% in a one-point game. And Mark Mitchell continues to have his way in the paint. He's already in double figures.
Well, his physicality in which he goes about it. He moves so well in the low post. If he gets a shoulder into you, you bounce off of him and finishing with tremendous level of touch over the top.
5 for 5 with 12 points to go along with a pair of assists. Ewan spins out. Richmond's three off the mark. Now Robinson wants to run. Barrett wiggling away from Wagner. Finds Burns, who is tied up. And a foul in there on Arkansas.
Foul trouble has been a problem for the Razorbacks this season, particularly in their last matchup. Nick Pringle caught up in the mix of it there. A lot of contact here in the paint. Three Arkansas defenders converging on the ball. At the last second, Pringle not able to keep his verticality and caught in the wrong place. Baseline out of bounds opportunity for Missouri.
You mentioned foul trouble being an issue. 4 Razorbacks fouled out in the double overtime loss at Alabama on Wednesday. Burns takes advantage of a foul. Give him the 2 plus a chance at the line.
Another foul and an and one. A great job by Burns streaking down the middle. And then you see on that short roll that Mark Mitchell, always with his head up, unselfish play, drops that one off. Burns going to the line for a 3-point play.
Coming off a season high 17 minutes, including 7 rebounds against Vanderbilt. Had a player of the game type of effort for a guy that dealt with so much injury to start the season. Missing the first 3 months, didn't return until late November. And a forced shot by Acuff draws a foul on Robinson the other way.
Robinson didn't think that he got too much contact on that attempt. But those are the quick moves of Darius Acuff Jr. He loves to get his defender going backwards and rise up in the mid-range. And there he is drawing a foul, going to the free throw line.
He has been so good, and that doesn't even do it justice. Richard, 7 straight games with 20 points or more, including back-to-back with at least 30.
Well, he understands when to attack, and this kid can really heat up in a hurry in a game. He can get out, get some easy buckets in the fast break game, and when you leave him open in drop coverage on the 3-ball, he has zero hesitation to let it fly.
Not often named amongst the top 2 or 3 in the country for National Freshman of the Year, but he leads the SEC in scoring, assists, and 3-point shooting. Certainly deserving of that honor. Good feed inside, Burns. Monster jam by the 7-footer.
That's a great job right there by Trent Burns of shaping up after the baseline drive. And then when he caught that ball with soft hands, able to keep it high and dunk it high.
Rare turnover for an Arkansas team that leads the conference in assist to turnover ratio.
You see as he shapes up in the middle when T.O. Barrett goes baseline, he catches that ball and keeps it up above his shoulders and finishes it with authority. That's really good fundamentals that you're seeing from low post players in this game, understanding how to move in space, catch the ball where you don't allow smaller players to strip it, and finish emphatically.
So much size on this Missouri team, particularly in the front court. Trent Burns, 7'5", 260. Cruz relocates for 3. Burns fighting for the rebound. Instead, it's Ewing.
Strong rebound by Malik Ewing. He had that turnover on the last set when they went screen roll. Footwork could have been a little bit different. He is a big factor for this Razorback team if he can assert himself.
Mitchell, kick to the corner. Cruz will drive and sent out of bounds by Brazil. Razorbacks in the midst of a near 4-minute drought without a field goal. Missouri's defense has them with a 4-point lead. Leads this Mizzou team in scoring, rebounding, and assists. If that keeps up to the end of the year, he'd be just the 2nd Tiger in program history to lead the team in all 3. The only other man to do it, Albert White, all the way back in 1999.
He's a player who reads the game so well, plays at his own pace, understands where the mismatches are, and there he is.
Well, that was last touch by Arkansas. It'll stay here. And the shot drew iron. 20 to shoot for Missouri. Ball underneath.
You see Sean Phillips, he was touching his chest saying, my fault. As they had the mismatch that they wanted, just a little bit too much on that high-low pass, but a good idea as he was looking for Mitchell.
Pierce pirouetting the baseline and lays it in.
Really good job by Pierce on that baseline's out of bounds opportunity.
We got a timeout on the floor to wipe the ball. Packed house here at Bud Walton Arena in Fayetteville for a series that dates all the way back to 1950. These two previously members of the Southwest Conference before Arkansas exited for the SEC. Razorbacks have dominated recent meetings. Have won 8 of the last 10. Brazil left open. Missing on a dead-away 3, and the drought continues for Arkansas. No field goals over the last 4 minutes and change.
Arkansas must consider using some stronger drives to the basket. See if they can get to the free throw line and then grow from there.
And Wagner stepped out of bounds. Meanwhile, big one in the NBA coming up later on tonight on ABC. Ernie, Kenny, Charles, and Shaq get you started at 8. And then it's Knicks, Rockets. KD in Houston, 4th in the West. Knicks, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, 4th in the East. A lot of expectations in New York this year for the Knicks. Barrett goes over the top for 2. Largest lead of the game for Missouri at 8. Shade under 7 minutes to go in the opening half. Ewan gives Arkansas its first field goal in over 4 minutes.
That was a great decision right there by Malik Ewan. They've been settling for some outside shots, and that time Malik Ewan took his time, noticed there wasn't any traffic, takes it right into the chest of Phillips for the deuce.
Now Mitchell off the bounce. Strong takes sent back by Richmond and left wide open. Sean Phillips Jr. with an emphatic dunk.
Phillips has been bringing it with his big-time finishes down low. The defense was cleared out of the way after Mitchell's strong drive. Arkansas will have to see if they can get a response.
9 points for Acuff, draws a foul on Barrett, and that is number 2 on the Missouri point guard.
Well, this strong drive by Mitchell, you get 3 players taking on all that attention, and there's Sean Phillips Jr. there to clean it up.
Has he ever had that clear of a rebound in his career?
Yeah, you won't have one that easy ever again. But you never know with that physicality and the amount of traffic that Mitchell brings to the table. Phillips is doing a great job of playing off of him. 2 really good front court players for the Tigers.
First time in his career as an everyday starter. And Dennis Gates just loves his intensity, something that permeates throughout the rest of the team. Meanwhile, a bit of a discrepancy here as Ewan exits the game. A little bit hobbly after his shoe came off his right foot. And again, this is an Arkansas team that is very thin. Carter Knox out indefinitely after a procedure on his left knee this week. Isaiah Seeley listed as doubtful coming into this game with a hip injury. And all that, Richard, after they just played a double overtime game at Alabama on Wednesday.
Well, health is something that Arkansas really has to address, particularly down the stretch. Ewing, a big factor for this team. But nonetheless, it's a talented team that's been able to get it done on a limited roster. And this are the cards they've been dealt. They'll have to continue to figure it out today.
A reminder, coming up next on ESPN, Michigan and Duke, a foul on Trent Pierce. That is number 2 on the Missouri big man, and now a pair of Tigers with 2 fouls.
It's a steal once again by Richmond. A little poke right there unnecessarily by Pierce.
2 more fouls on Missouri. The Razorbacks will be in the bonus the rest of the first half. Richmond spins up and under. Come on! Circus shot for Billy Richmond III.
That might be the spark that Arkansas needs to get going. Richmond, great finish.
Oh, and right back the other way. T.O. Barrett not to be outdone. Sticking with it for the Tigers.
T.O. Barrett with a phenomenal physique. He uses that physicality to stay after it on those loose balls, and then he had enough strength to muscle that one home, drawing the foul. And look at the activity. The loose ball, he's battling for it, and able to muscle that one up through the contact of Malik Thomas.
And Barrett pays it off for the 3-point play. This Missouri team Richard, has shown this year that they can come into road environments, win in hostile environments, seeking their third straight SEC road win for the first time since joining the league over a decade ago.
They've been playing really good ball, and a big reason for them is that Dennis Gates' group is healthy as well. They're coming together. They have a lot of chemistry, and boy, are they confident.
Not unlike Arkansas. They have dealt with injury throughout the year. It's really forced them to mix and match lineups. But for the most part, over the last 2 to 3 weeks, they have had their full complement that they're going to have for the rest of the year. And there's a whistle on Jaden Stone, and now one more on the Tigers in Arkansas in the bonus.
A little too physical as both of the players jockeying for position. Stone, a little handsy, battling with Malik Thomas to get open on the wing. You know, these are the moments when you hear the whistle that you got to lean on your fundamentals. You can't use your hands, use your hips. Allow a little bit of leverage with your forearms, show your hands. It's the little details when it comes to getting yourself open that matters in a game of this magnitude.
Also known as the tricks of the trade.
Maybe a few.
Ewan went for the hammer, adjusted, and banked it in. A chance at the three-piece.
Now that was impressive. Malik Ewan just checked out of the game for an injury checkup, but here he is taking flight, going body to body, finishing that one with the contact. Magnificent work by 12 and White.
His numbers have been up across the board in SEC play.
I think he can be a really big X factor for this Arkansas team. He gives some technical moves down in the low post, as well as finishing ability and screen roll sets.
Missouri leading by 4, shooting 63%. And a foul on the floor, I believe, against Trevin Brazil.
And we just talked about using technique, and you can see John Calipari saying that he used his forearm as two of the premier power forwards in the conference, Mark Mitchell and Brazil, jockeying for position. Too much physicality, and that time the advantage goes to the offense.
Five to shoot for Robinson. Mitchell spins, floats, and drew a foul on Wagner.
That's really good recognition and poise at the end of the shot clock. Mizzou goes screen roll, and Arkansas elects to switch it. You got the 6'9", 250-pound Mitchell able to take advantage of the smaller guard, Wagner, and draw the foul.
Having a career year in so many ways, scoring, assists, field goal percentage, to name a few. But even more than that, Richard, he has become the alpha for this Missouri team that has a chance to make back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances for the first time in over a decade.
He's a really strong player, Mitchell. He's been leading this team. Reminds me of a former teammate I had with the Golden State Warriors in Al Harrington. At 6'9", and 230 pounds. I might have given him 20 extra pounds on that last physical move. But he can play on the outside and the inside and really read the game.
Great take by Billy Richmond III, who scored in double figures in 5 straight games for the Razorbacks. Back to a 4-point game, 4 minutes to go in the opening half. Mitchell, baseline, left hand won't go. Following his miss, jarred loose, scooped up by Wagner. Pushing, Wagner in a flash, lays it in with the left hand.
Wow, that was an elite end-to-end move right there by DJ Wagner.
Timeout, Missouri.
Billy Richmond, the lefty, sets his man up going to the right, and then a little dipsy-do scoop shot. Beautiful finesse finish by Billy Richmond III.
Don't count out Ole Miss in that game. Cody McMahon had 39 last week in a win against Tennessee. Star power across the board tomorrow in Columbia, South Carolina.
That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Some talented teams have been competing defensively on a high level.
Missouri still shooting 60% from the floor, a slight lead on the road in Fayetteville. 5 to go for T.O. Barrett. Now 3 to shoot. Had it picked, steps through and traveled. Well defended by Arkansas late in the timer. Fifth turnover on the Tigers. Meanwhile, coming up in just over 3 minutes, Jeep halftime report with Reese Davis, Jay Will, and Seth. We'll get you set for an elite matchup between Duke and Michigan. Coming up at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN. Richmond feeds Ewan. Got his own miss. Put it in off the window. Ewan with 9 points to go along with 4 rebounds.
Malik Ewan with the activity on the O boards. Arkansas tying this thing up.
Mitchell, two-hand jam, leads all scorers with 16.
And that's really good basketball on both sides. Some really spirited defensive work by the Razorbacks, but T.O. Barrett handling that ball with poise and dropping it off in that two-man game. Mitchell doing the rest.
Open three. Brazil knocks it down. And the Razorbacks lead.
Trevin Brazil more than capable of knocking down that shot. They leave him wide open on a blown coverage, and number 7 in white makes Mizzou pay. Really good job by DJ Wagner playing off-ball defense.
Barrett goes baseline. Stone back to Barrett. And a shot clock violation gives it back to Arkansas.
That's one right there where they get the air ball. And a really good job is Mark Mitchell over helping after the strong dribble drive, and Trevin Brazil knocks that one down to give the Razorbacks the lead.
They are glad to have DJ Wagner with the basketball now back in this lineup playing healthy. He's missed time with an ankle injury. They're not the same team without him. Ewan just misses out on a three-point play.
I think Ewan is starting to get a little bit of a rhythm in the low post. He finds himself back to the free throw line after that drawn foul. But the stars of this game that we touched on in the open are delivering here in the first half.
Arkansas in the bonus for the final 90 seconds. Winners of 6 of their last 8 games, only 2 losses over that stretch. Their lone home loss of the year to Kentucky, and then the double OT loss at Bama on Wednesday. Squarely in the field of 68 according to Joe Lunardi. Mizzou right now on the 10 line has a chance with a win today to really solidify their spot in the big dance. Barrett left it short, ball jarred around. It's going back to Arkansas.
Arkansas has started to take their defensive efforts up a high level to another level in recent possessions. They're doing a really good job being heavy in the gaps, active hands, and then contesting when shots are being attempted by Mizzou.
Final 60 seconds of the opening half. Mizzou is led by as many as 8. Arkansas responds on a DJ Wagner hammer.
That's phenomenal work by the Razorbacks. Billy Richmond has been diming on those backdoor sets, and then you see Mark Mitchell and taking it right back at him, getting a big shot attempt to calm things down when they needed much. But Richmond III with his second backdoor dime. That time it's DJ Wagner going up top. Beautiful backdoor cut and an even stronger finish.
John Calipari said he is the type of dude that cannot play at 80% because of how hard he goes. They need him healthy. He is right now, and boy, is he a difference maker.
Well, he does so many things for Arkansas. It's not just him with his point production, but his defensive work sets the tone. Oftentimes takes on some of the team's better players, particularly the ones that are having a lot of movement off the ball, and he calms things down from his ball handling perspective.
Speaking of calming things down, Mark Mitchell hits a pair, stops a 13-2 Arkansas run. Back to a single possession game, final 40 seconds of the opening half.
A switch up of defense in the last possession. They're going to the timeout to talk about it as Mizzou showed some 2-3 zone. Got a good one here in Fayetteville.
Back in 30. Welcome back to Fayetteville. DJ Wagner has been a star for Arkansas, as has Mark Mitchell of Missouri, who leads all scorers with 18. Under 30 seconds to go in the first half. Here's Wagner. Knocks down a three.
Right on cue is DJ Wagner. He made sure to relocate as Mizzou showed that 2-3 zone. They find him in the corner.
Final 5 seconds. Stone heaves. Rebound Ewan. And Arkansas, who trailed by as many as 8 at one point in the first half, takes a 6-point lead to the locker room.
Well, Arkansas really turned up things defensively in the last 3 minutes of the half, shutting down Missouri, and then that translated into very efficient play on the offensive side.
Razorbacks ended the half on a 23-9 run. Now let's get it to Reese Davis, Jay Williams, and Seth Greenberg for the
previous play is under
report.
further review at the end of the half.
But the officials are going to go to the monitor first because apparently there was a scuffle going into the locker room. Again, two heated rivals, two states that neighbor each other, just a 4-hour drive or less between Fayetteville and Columbia, Missouri. And now the Tigers are going to exit the stadium a different way, but the Razorback staff are not allowing them to. And now Dennis Gates is pushing past the Bud Walton Arena staff and saying, nope, this is the way we're going.
And, you know, I don't disagree with head coach Dennis Gates, as you know that you're going to be exiting through the same tunnel, and he wants to de-escalate this situation and take his team through another exit to go into the half.
Well, this has gotten feisty at midcourt here as the officials continue to review the scuffle that happened when the buzzer went off. And it happened late, Richard. I mean, half of Arkansas's team was already down in the tunnel, exiting the court for the locker room. Dennis Gates trying to amend the situation. And while we clean this up, we will now get you to the Jeep halftime report. Reese, never a dull moment in the SEC. 6-point lead for the Razorbacks. As we went to break at the end of the half, a flagrant one was issued to Billy Richmond, 24 and white. He got in a bit of a tussle
prior to the
with
end
Jacob
of
Cruz.
the first half. There was an
right
unobserved
there
flagrant foul
on the
Arkansas
back end of the
number
tussle,
24.
Richard Hendricks, is
Missouri
where
number
Richmond
35 will
got
shoot
the flagrant
2 free
one,
throws
and so
on the
Missouri
opposite
will shoot
end,
free throws to start
and
the
it'll
second
be
half.
Missouri basketball to start the second half.
Richmond took exception to the block out, and
The
you can
AP
see
arrow
the
will not
retaliation
change. It will favor
as he gets his
Arkansas
arm extended,
to
gets a
start the
piece
half.
there, and then another piece of Phillips. A lot of physicality, but here we are in the second half.
Matt Schumacher, Richard Hendricks with you. It was really a back and forth first half. Missouri led by as many as 8. Then Arkansas closed the first half on a 23-9 run. What do you expect in the second 20 minutes?
Well, I think both of these teams will continue to play their hardest. They understand that this is an opportunity for a big-time chance to give them momentum moving forward in the SEC, particularly for Missouri, who got off to a fantastic start but struggled in the last 3 minutes of the first half. It'll be interesting to see the adjustments that it'll make after Arkansas turned up the temperature late in the first.
That foul, by the way, was assessed in the first half. So both teams will start the second half with 0 fouls. Cruz misses the first of 2 flagrant foul shots, and of course the Tigers will get the basketball to start. It is a rivalry that is not often discussed in the same breath as some of the other big rivalries in the SEC, but it dates back all the way to 1950. 2 fan bases that share a border, and a series that has often been tightly contested, though Arkansas has won 8 of the last 10. And as you mentioned, Richard, a big opportunity for a Missouri team that has won 4 out of their last 5, and for now is off the bubble, as Will Howard is pointing to the clock. There was an issue that they're going to correct here, and Missouri will re-inbound the basketball. Dennis Gates' team has played in a lot of tight games. In fact, this year they're 6-1 in games decided by 6 points or less. Be interesting to see how his team responds with a building that is already juiced up and got some more at the end of the first half.
Well, he knows that his team just has to hang in this one to the end. They have a lot of poise and maturity. But Arkansas has made some adjustments. We'll see how this one will finish up in the second.
Pierce way off the mark. Rebound battled for and won by Missouri. Darius Acuff Jr. saying he didn't touch it. Boy, he got a nice rest at the end of the first half thanks to the play of DJ Wagner. 5 minutes extra rest Acuff got before halftime.
50 minutes he played in the last outing against Alabama in the double overtime game. Never leave the court. That's really good if he can get a blow. And there you see the body blows right there by Pierce down low with the baby hook in the paint.
Ewan had an excellent first half. They will count the bucket and the foul. Going against Sean Phillips Jr., his second.
Malik Ewan has done a really good job of taking his time. That jab step to the right allowed him to get freed up. He takes it right into the chest of Phillips.
Boy, was he good in the first half. Arkansas with 18 bench points in the first half. Ewan with 11 of those to go along with 5 rebounds. Mitchell dumps it inside Phillips, defended by Ewan, set back by Brazil. What a whistle in first.
Missouri does a really good job when they come off those floppy sets. When they do that, the ball goes to the side. Mark Mitchell, the leader in assists, flashes to the high post, and he looks to his front court mate, Phillips. The foul being called after a tug on the jersey down low.
You mentioned a double overtime game on Wednesday for Arkansas. It was only their second loss over the last 8 games. A team that's been playing really well. But in that game, they had 4 different players foul out. And now already today, 3 players with 2 fouls for Arkansas.
Staying on the court will be extremely important for Arkansas, not only in this game, but moving forward to be able to play solid defense without fouling.
Acuff counted in the foul. And a little bit hobbly on that ankle that had him in a boot for 2 days leading up to the 49-point performance at Alabama, but he walks it off.
A lot of activity. You go Spain pick and roll on the side, and there you see Acuff gets a little bit of a crease, and that's all he needs, taking it all the way to the basket, and with that strength, able to muscle it home.
Barrett with the rebound, stays in the game with 3 fouls. Up to Pierce. And a whistle inside. And if that's on Ewan, that's number 3 on the Florida State transfer.
It's a significant call as Malik Ewan has been impactful in this game. 14 points already, but there he is getting buried down low on that strong duck in by Sean Phillips Jr. That's when, if you're Ewan, you got to understand, you have 2 fouls in the game. Use your footwork to get around them, or just let them have it. You got to be on the court for the team.
No Carter Knox for Arkansas. We have not seen Isaiah Sealy either, who came into the day as doubtful. It is a short Razorback bench. Pierce catch and shoot, knocks in a 3.
Wow. And you see how he was able to come off that pin down and flip his hips immediately and elevate up and knock that down. Very impressive at 6'10".
A cuff. Richmond passed up a wide open 3. Now on the baseline, takes over the left hand short. Pierce rips down the board. Almost picked off by Thomas, regathered by Mitchell.
Dennis Gates is communicating to his team, settle down and run your offense. You found some really good things when you take your time.
Pitch inside Phillips, picked off by Richmond. Weaving through the defense. Richmond back out a cuff. And a whistle on Barrett. And that is number 4 on the Missouri point guard.
And that's outstanding recognition right there by Darius Acuff Jr. He caught that ball, and then the closeout, not at the best of T.O. Barrett, and able to just take a rip drive right there into the hip, and bam, draws that foul.
Almost a little surprising this early in the second half that he remained in the game with 3 fouls. But now you got to take him out, and Anthony Robinson comes back in for the Tigers.
Dennis Gates puts a lot of trust into his players to play and make good decisions.
Offensive rebound, Pringle. Wagner just off the mark. Another rebound by Pringle. Brazil a 3.
The 3rd time's the charm, and that's one you got to give the credit to Nick Pringle and that activity on the offensive rebound, and kicks it out. Trevin Brazil knocks down another 3 ball, his 2nd of the day.
And Stone momentarily silencing a crowd of 19,000 plus in Fayetteville.
Well, that's a big shot right there by Jaden Stone. It's a big-time scorer that Missouri needs, and that's his first bucket of the day. He'll have to heat up, play an important factor down the stretch.
Brazil tried for the response. Stone with a rebound. He had no points in just 1 shot attempt in the first half. He'll have to get involved in the second frame for the Missouri to compete. And a whistle on the rebound attempt. Will go against the Tigers. And that is number 3 on Pierce, and already the 4th on Missouri.
Missouri was starting to find some things offensively, and Trent Burns, only 1 made 3 that he's been able to have, but confident in his ability.
Well, remember, at the end of the first half, things got chippy. A flagrant 1 was assessed to Arkansas. Robinson had some words for Trevin Brazil. We will step aside. Tightly contested matchup here in the SEC. Back after this. Player of the year, Otega Owe, taking on South Carolina, and then Missouri taking on a Tennessee team that has won 9 of their last 11 games. Richard, taking down a top 25 Vandy team earlier today.
Tennessee playing really good basketball, and those 2 losses coming at the hands of Kentucky late in ball games. They figured out how to win games. Watch out for the balls late in the season.
Mitchell flipped it down to Burns, and another whistle on the Razorbacks. That's their 4th.
Mark Mitchell continuing to read the game well. 4 assists in the game. This time he drops that one off. There you go, that screen roll. He looks right at the rim and tries to throw this one here to Trent Burns. He gets a foul. You know, I think there should be a rule change. You know, if Mitchell makes that pass and there's a foul that occurs, if Burns hits the free throw, he should be credited for the assist.
You want the big men to get it more stats.
If he makes one of the 2 free throws, Mitchell created that shot. Burns got fouled. He made one of the 2 free throws. He should be credited with the assist.
Hey, man, I'm not disagreeing. Richard's going to petition the NCAA at the end of this season.
I'm sure Mark Mitchell would agree.
Absolutely. Had a career-high 9 assists in Missouri's win over Vanderbilt last week. Meanwhile, Darius Acuff Jr. to the line. Fresh off a 49-point performance in the loss to Alabama. Most ever by a Razorback in an SEC game. Never mind by a freshman. He has been sensational for the Razorbacks this year.
He's having a very productive game so far. And you wonder how much energy does he have in the tank after that effort he had to have on Wednesday night. He's preserving his energy so far. I think he's poised to turn up down the stretch.
Stone. Another catch and shoot 3, his second of the second half.
He was very decisive. As soon as that ball came his way, he knew he was going to let it fly. That's a massive shot for Mizzou, making a 2-point ball game.
Richmond knifing to the basket, sent back by Burns. They recovered nicely after being beat. Stone thought about it. Kick out Mitchell. And draws a late whistle. And you can hear how the faithful at Bud Walton Arena feel about it.
Man, that's a tough one if you're Nick Pringle. He was in foul trouble in his last game against Alabama. Here he is. Looks like he has a lot of verticality. And even though he extended that ball, I don't know if he reached out and got the wrist. That's a tough break right there if you're 23 and white, Pringle. But nonetheless, it's Mark Mitchell going back to the line for 2.
Now Arkansas has got an issue here. Pringle will go to the bench with 4 fouls. They have to bring Malik Ewan back in with 3. Trevin Brazil with 2. Missouri's foul trouble dire as well. Starting point guard T.O. Barrett on the bench with 4 fouls. Pierce stays in the game with 3. Richmond left open and makes him pay.
Yeah, that's a big shot right there by Billy Richmond. Not being respected on the 3-point line, and he lines it up with a lot of confidence and knocks it down.
Richmond in double figures with 10 to go along with 3 assists. Mitchell, kick out, Pierce a 3. Great rebound by Jaden Stone. Fresh shot clock for the Tigers. Mitchell with 5. Dribbling through traffic. Mitchell to the cup. And they will count the 2 on a basket interference.
Good things happen when you attack the rim. And talk about some nifty ball handling ability by Mark Mitchell. He folds up with some power, and there he's able to get, as Trevin Brazil tapped the rim ever so slightly, but enough to get that goaltending call.
Mitchell with 22, his 11th 20-point performance of the season. Brazil thought about it. Back out Acuff, 10 to shoot. Acuff pull up 3.
Big possession here for the Tigers as they'll look to take their time and find where their advantages lie.
Mitchell, floater too high for Burns, and it's going back to the Razorbacks. 8th Missouri turnover. Richmond getting to his spots. Has double figures in 6 straight games.
He's been playing his best basketball as of late, and you can see the confidence in which he's playing offensively. Many people think of him more as a defensive stopper, but I'm telling you, turning into a two-way player as of late for the Razorbacks.
Great block there by the freshman Thomas, tapped to him by Brazil, who remains on the court and now is up behind the play. Trailing for 3, gives it up. Richmond downtown.
Man, oh man, Billy Richmond III, and the crowd is loving it.
Timeout, Missouri. He already has 2 threes in this game. Coming into the day in league play, he was 1 for 14 from downtown. It's something that he has really worked on, to your point, and over the last 3 games averaging a 20-piece.
Young players need to understand, if you want to improve, it's a simple recipe. Get in the gym and work on your game, and you will grow your confidence through the reps. And a great example of that is looking at Billy Richmond III and what he's doing today.
Robinson skip past Pierce. Double team comes on Phillips. Stone, good cut and a tough finish with the left hand.
That adjustment that he made around the shot blocking, that was phenomenal work right there by Stone, switching that to the left hand.
All 8 of his points have come in the first 8 minutes and change of the second half. Brazil. And the 9th turnover on the Tigers, and Thomas gripping his right leg. Slow to get up, and a hush has fallen over the crowd here at Bud Walton Arena. They have seen injury time and again from their players. Good to see Thomas help to his feet. We'll be right back after this.
See if he can be a significant player down the stretch.
Again, the Razorbacks today without Carter Knox. He's out indefinitely after a procedure on his knee. They were also without the freshman Isaiah Seeley. Richmond has been fantastic. And the stop and pop is good for the sophomore from Memphis.
Well, the lefty does a really good job reading the game. He's setting up his drives by going to the right first and then going back to his strong hand. And once again, he finds success.
17 points on 7 of 10. 7-point lead abated by Phillips Jr. for 2. Richmond to Brazil. Ewan fighting for the board, in foul trouble, unable to win it back. And it's Missouri basketball. Well, he's played a spirited game as well for the Razorbacks.
No question. And delivering so many things on both ends of the court.
Lob inside to Pierce. Defended by Richmond. Ball tapped around. Phillips can't get it. And a foul to boot as Malik Thomas won it back for Arkansas.
That's a possession that Missouri wishes they had back. It's design look on that high-low set, not able to convert, and the fouls starting to play a factor as Arkansas going to the free throw line.
In the bonus for the rest of the game, starting at the 10:08 mark. You wonder how much fatigue is starting to be a factor in this game for both sides, but particularly for a Missouri team that has had to win so many close, hard-fought games in recent weeks. Playing without T.O. Barrett at the moment. Their starting point guard on the bench with 4 fouls.
This is the point of the season that all teams are tired and beat up, and you got to dig deep somehow, some way, and give that effort that you need to try to improve your NCAA tournament resume.
Great block. It's Ewan coming from the weak side.
There he is once again. Malik Ewan, impactful on both ends.
Acuff Jr. sitting on 15 points, gives it up to Richmond. Floater over the top, rims out. Got his own miss, put it down. Largest lead of the game for the Razorbacks.
Billy Richmond. And his activity, you can see he's Johnny on the spot. He's making all the right decisions. And he's got the Razorbacks up 9.
John Calipari's team had a week off to start the month of February. It was a bye week. He led his team in what he called Camp Cal, 3 days of two-a-days. And he said, Richard, coming out of that, his team has taken more pride on the defensive end, and boy, has it shown today.
He's done a terrific job, and you can see, even though the team's been depleted with injuries, he's been able to give them so much enthusiasm and confidence, and his team has responded. And another response right there by Mark Mitchell.
Well, Mizzou needed that out of the timeout by Dennis Gates. Tigers will have just one remaining over the final 9 minutes. Brazil somehow snatched that out of midair and drew a foul. What could have been a turnover results in foul shots for the Razorbacks. And that is now number 4 on Sean Phillips Jr.
Good to see elite level athleticism. Look at that.
Looking like Richard Hendricks in an Alabama uniform.
Maybe. I tell you, that's another level right there, what Trevin Brazil has going on. And his height and length and leaping ability. You know, this season you could tell that he's made an adjustment. A player that's had a lot of promise and potential. NBA draft boards think highly of him. Former player at Mizzou, and he's come over to Arkansas. He's got a hairstyle change. He changed his number this upcoming season, and he's been playing lights out for the Razorbacks in his last year.
Has had a winding career that has been at times injury riddled, but having a fantastic season and really 2 to 3 week stretch right now for the Razorbacks. Both ends of the floor has made a major impact. Mitchell out to Robinson, knocks in a 3.
Well, Acuff made that gamble right there on Mark Mitchell to try to pinch down and get a steal. And Mitchell, with another recognition, knocks that down as he swings it over to Robinson, and he cashes out.
Thomas off the handoff. Back to him from Richmond. Responds with a 3 of his own.
Richmond turns out a good shot to swing it to Thomas for a better shot, and the freshman locked and loaded.
Robinson, kick out Pierce, got it from downtown. That's 3 straight in the game between these two teams.
They are shooting the basketball, and it's the pinpointed passes that are right in the shooting pocket that's allowing these guys to raise up and knock it down.
Almost picked by Robinson, playing with 3 fouls. Tigers in some serious foul trouble at the moment. Acuff goes down, wanted a whistle, won't get it. Blocked by Burns. Acuff with 2 to shoot. And it's off the front of the rim.
You have to wonder how much energy does Acuff have left in the tank, and a foul drawn once again by Mark Mitchell with that powerful drive to the cup.
3rd foul on Brazil.
It's the extra pass of the Arkansas Razorbacks. Billy Richmond swinging that one over to Malik Thomas, and it's nothing but net. And then the answer on the other side by Pierce, a good one in Fayetteville. If you allow them to hang around, they have the character to pull out a win. And here they are on the road, 2-possession ball game. Mark Mitchell on the line.
Missouri 18-0 this year when scoring at least 73 points. Arkansas trying to hand them their first loss when scoring 73, and Mitchell misses the 2nd free throw.
Missouri changing up some defense. Tough out of that little bit of a zone set that they're showing to find your rebounding lanes. And there you see Trevin Brazil crashing in from the outside and getting another O board.
Fourth foul on Trent Pierce, and now Barrett, Pierce, and Phillips all have 4 fouls for Missouri. Robinson remains in the game for the Tigers at point guard with 3 fouls. Richard, how long do you keep T.O. Barrett on the bench if you're Missouri? We haven't seen him since about the 17.5-minute mark of the second half.
Well, he's going to have to be ready to get back in. And when he gets back in, the main thing with his defensive efforts, he's going to have to play defense down the stretch without fouling and continue to try to be impactful with the pressure. But with 6.5 to go in this game, Arkansas starting to put together a little bit of a surge. Can the response come from the Tigers?
Foul on Brazil, and that is number 4 on the senior from Springfield, Missouri.
Mark Mitchell was able to draw that foul because of the determination that he used on that ducking. A little bit more strength down low than Brazil has, and when he was able to do that, the extra fight caused the foul.
He will now join Nick Pringle on the bench with 4. Meanwhile, T.O. Barrett does come back in with those 4 fouls for Missouri. And a timeout taken by John Calipari. Well, a reminder, we have a spectacular evening of hoops still to come, including this monster matchup. Michigan, Duke, both projected #1 seeds in the NCAA tournament.
Foul on Arkansas number 7. That play is being appealed by Arkansas and is under review.
And 2 teams that could very well be in the Final Four. Then after that, Kentucky and Auburn feels like must win for the Auburn Tigers. And we cap the night with a top 25 showdown in the Big 12.
Massive games around the country. You touched on that big game between Duke and Michigan. And here you see Mark Mitchell trying to get that position down low. This one could be overturned to a hook and hold. Sometimes as a post player you use some of these little tricks to get an advantage. But now with the rule change, the hook and hold is something they can appeal to take a look at. And this one I do think will be reversed.
Well, that would be a monster reversal as Trevin Brazil went to the bench with 4 fouls for an Arkansas team whose bench is already short due to injury. Here's another look at it.
You can see as Mitchell's working across the lane right there, they get tangled up. But maybe a little bit of a hook right there from Mitchell down low. It'll be interesting to see what this officiating crew calls right there.
It appears they have come to a decision. And they have left it as a common foul. Stephen Anderson giving an explanation to John Calipari, our crew chief.
Yeah, and you can.
After review, the appeal by Arkansas is unsuccessful and the ruling on the floor is confirmed. Common foul on White 7.
And you can see the reaction of the fans and head coach John Calipari as they disagree. And I understand there's a lot of hook there by Mark Mitchell as Trevin Brazil was trying to play defense.
That says it all from Coach Cal, who just lost a timeout as well. So now Arkansas down to 2. Missouri has just the 1 remaining over the final 6:28.
A massive swing. And Mitchell able to cash in. You lose the challenge timeout, and Brazil has 4 fouls.
Yes. Cannot be overstated. Great effort by Ewan. Saved it off the hands of Mitchell. It'll stay here with 18 to shoot.
And this is a big opportunity right here for Arkansas on this baseline out of bounds set. And you want to see if you can dial something up to get a clean look. As you've struggled, have not had a field goal in your last 4 attempts. And this baseline out of bounds set is a good opportunity to capitalize.
Acuff comes off the screen. Over the top of Phillips. That was significantly altered by the 7-footer. And it's going back to Missouri. Tigers have made 5 out of their last 7 shots. Trailing by 5, a shade under 6 minutes to go. Under 10 to shoot. Mitchell in the paint, over the top of Richmond, no, and the rebound secured by Thomas.
That's really good defense right there by Richmond III.
Thomas, spin cycle, drops it down. A thing of beauty.
Yes, it
for Malik Thomas.
Yes, it was. Malik Thomas in full control on that one. Beautiful finish.
Mitchell looking for a response. Blocked by Richmond. Acuff scoops. Thomas heaves and hits from downtown. Timeout, Missouri.
Well, Malik Thomas getting in his bag with that beautiful spin move and then the touch. And then he comes down freshman to freshman. Acuff with the scoop pass right over. And Malik Thomas in a zone knocking down a big-time tray ball.
Arkansas has been so good over these last handful of weeks. They have won 6 out of their last 8 games. Their offense has been undisputably fantastic, Richard. 89 points per game. That's second in the league only to Alabama. They lead the league in 2-point shooting. Their 3-point shooting has been fantastic. Feels like John Calipari's team, which had a lot of youth coming in, Acuff and Thomas included, is really starting to hit a groove in late February.
Youth to match with the veteran leadership of this team. And a beautiful distribution of scoring from this team. 5 players in double figures so far in this game. Doing a tremendous job with 17 assists of sharing this basketball. Arkansas is really rolling offensively.
All right, on the flip side, Missouri burns its final timeout with 5:09 to go. You're down 10 on the road. Foul trouble an issue. How do they get back into this game?
Well, you got to continue to step on the gas, but mainly it's got to be done on the defensive end. You've given up 83 points already with a little over 5 minutes to go in this game. You have to make sure you're in communication when it comes to your ball screen coverages and understand what you're going to give up. Now, they have given up a lot of easy, wide-open shots to people that they believe are non-shooters, such as Billy Richmond III and Trevin Brazile. They've cashed in on those. Now that is the time to respect everyone on the court and strap down defensively and see if you can put together a string of stops.
Officials are going to make a change to the game clock here, potentially the shot clock as well. T.O. Barrett with 4 fouls, Trent Pierce and Sean Phillips Jr. all with 4 fouls for Missouri. Meanwhile, Pringle and Brazile both with 4 fouls for Arkansas. Both teams in the bonus the rest of the way. No timeouts for the Tigers. 2 for Arkansas, and another stoppage here by Keith Kimball. And coming out of the Missouri timeout, Dennis Gates electing to roll with Barrett, Pearson, Phillips. Richard, all playing with 4 fouls. At this point in the game, what other options do you have?
No, and not a bad strategy. You got 5:09 left in this, and you're playing for a big-time opportunity for your NCAA tournament seeding. You have to go all in, and this is the time to do it if you're Mizzou.
Well, our officiating crew here, Will Howard, Keith Kimball, Stephen Anderson, are going to get together because there was a timing issue. You can see they've added 9 seconds back to the game clock. John Calipari wanting further explanation at midcourt. You mentioned the NCAA tournament seeding. Dennis Gates' team about a week and a half ago was on the outside looking in, according to Joe Lunardi. They picked up some big wins, including a top 20 victory against Vanderbilt earlier this week. Boy, a comeback victory here, you would think would almost surely solidify them in the field of 68 with so little time left in the regular season.
This would be a massive win and another stoppage.
Cue the Barnum and Bailey music.
And there it is. I tell you, and nonetheless, John Calipari still coaching in these moments, and that's how you do it. You have a stoppage of time. That's a great moment for you to give instruction to your team. No timeouts left for Missouri. You have to make sure that your team is prepared for these moments.
Arkansas, on the other hand, squarely on the 5 line, according to Joe Lunardi, coming into the day. Seeking another signature home win, where they are 13-1 this year. Good feed inside to Missouri's big man, Trent Pierce, and that stops a 2.5-minute drought without a field goal.
That's a great design play. They lifted all 4 players at the top, and they allowed Pierce to go on that strong cut down on the block, and 6'10", just throw it up.
Wagner, floater, short. Track down Acuff. What a feed inside to Richmond.
Darius Acuff Jr. with his head up, and he makes the right find to the man with the hot hand, Billy Richmond III.
Richmond with 19 points. Now 21 to lead all Arkansas scores. Barrett scoops. Phillips with a regather and 2-hand jam.
And Sean Phillips has been able to finish with authority on these dump-offs. It's the defensive end that Missouri is going to have to make a stand as Arkansas is picking them apart.
Barrett defending Acuff Jr. with 4 fouls. Acuff Jr. up and under with the kiss off the window.
Phenomenal. You know, and Acuff Jr. after playing 50 minutes in the last game, you got to wonder when he's going to turn it up.
And a turnover for Mizzou, their 10th.
Acuff Jr. tracks down this loose ball and then head up, drops it off to Billy Richmond III for the slam.
Lucky are we that we get a premier non-conference matchup with March Madness looming right around the corner. Per Kempom, the 2 best teams in the country, Richard, with just 3 combined losses.
And kudos to those head coaches for making that scheduling happen. And you never could have predicted it'd be a 1-versus-3 game, but it could be a potential rematch of these 2 top-tier teams.
Meanwhile, back here in Fayetteville, 10-point lead for a top 20 Arkansas team, seeking their 14th home win of the season. Acuff Jr. stripped. Richmond was there, took a bump, no call, back the other way. Richmond down behind the play. Stone unable to hit the 3. Phillips continues to play with Richmond still down. Rebound Thomas, and now the timeout is called. Well, Richmond really hobbly after taking a bump upstairs on a rebound attempt. Would not be shocked if there was a review here by our officiating crew. And Keith Kimball just went up to Stephen Anderson and said he did not see anything that would have warranted a review, and so we will play on.
Might have been
Almost
a little
been
friendly fire.
Yeah. Maybe that's what Keith Kimball saw, so no review necessary. We've already had plenty of those. 2:45 to go in regulation.
This is the time you look for Darius Acuff to operate, create.
He gives it to Brazil, up and under, smooth operator.
That's just a gorgeous move right there by Trevin Brazil.
No timeouts left for Missouri. Mitchell sitting on 26. Walled off in the paint. Robinson. Tap out Phillips, secured by Thomas. Zip pass up. Ewan with the hammer. And the exclamation point in Fayetteville. Pierce got to the rim, +1.
Arkansas, one of the fastest teams in the conference when they're fast breaks. And then head up and running. You see Malik Ewan, the big man, on his horse and finishing with a fantastic slam.
17-0. Arkansas leads Missouri in fast break points. Ewan with 16 points to go along with 8 rebounds. Not to mention the fact that he's done a phenomenal job on these Missouri bigs, particularly Richard in the second half in the paint.
His defense that he had a few possessions ago sparked some of the offense on the other end, doing a great job of being disciplined with those post-ups from Mark Mitchell and then contesting with verticality.
Meanwhile, they confirmed the foul on the floor was on Trevin Brazil. He has fouled out for Arkansas. 12 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds for the Razorback big man.
An 11-point game. You have to ask yourself in Missouri, and there's an off-ball foul there on Robinson II as he's chasing Darius Acuff.
That just felt like an unnecessary foul for Missouri, and it sends Darius Acuff Jr. to the line where he has knocked him down at an 80% clip this year.
%. Seems to always happen that the announcer jinx, huh?
I knew you were going to go there. You looked at me side-eyed when the first one drew iron.
Well, who else is there to blame? You got a guy who dropped 49 points in his last game. He's 8 for 9 shooting free throws in tonight's game. I mean, it can't be him, that's for sure.
He has been sensational. Phillips looking for help. Stone fouled, and I believe that will be the 4th on Ewan.
And Ewan did a really good job playing defense right there on Phillips, but then at the last second on this drive, as opposed to just putting his hands up in a game where you're up by 12, he reaches in the last second.
All 9 of Jaden Stone's points have come in the second half for Missouri.
A little bit of extended pressure here by Missouri.
Very difficult to turn over this Razorbacks team.
Very solid when it comes to ball protection. It all has to do with the fundamentals in which they play with.
They have just 5 turnovers today. Acuff Jr. going back to the line. Now Richmond down on his knees after it looked like he and Acuff Jr. might have perhaps collided a bit on the drive to the basket. Now Richmond on the seat of his pants up against one of the advertisement boards here in Fayetteville. Meanwhile, Acuff Jr. with one of the longest 20-point game streaks by a freshman in the last 20 seasons. Remember, he had 49 a couple of nights ago as Richmond has helped off the floor. Oh, it just feels like this team cannot catch a break.
They cannot.
When it comes to the injuries, and you hope for Billy Richmond and for the Razorbacks that this is not serious.
He seems to be in a lot of pain, grimacing on the sideline.
Matt Townsend, the hardest working man in Fayetteville, the Arkansas trainer, has done such a phenomenal job this year of keeping these Razorbacks who have been banged up game ready. 12-point lead for Arkansas. Less than a minute to go. Robinson for 2. And Mizzou not fouling. Arkansas will come away with their 7th win in the last 9 games. What a performance by the Razorbacks on the heels of a dogfight on Wednesday night at Alabama. Went 2 overtimes, narrowly missing out on another top 25 road win.
Arkansas, the only team in the SEC to not have back-to-back losses this season, and the response they made here this afternoon.
Acuff Jr. with another 20-point performance. Billy Richmond with 21, his 3rd straight 20-point performance. Our final score today, Arkansas 94, Missouri 86. Coming up next, College Game Day with Reese, Jay, and Seth.